Bears fan podcast number 38 now. The season is finally upon us. We got one more week, a little bye week. Um, Bears play the Bills. Sox still suck. Lonzo Ball can hop up and down on one leg. Um, and yeah, that's about it. I watched the first half of the Bears game. I kind of zoned out towards the end. But first drive, same old Bear stuff. Looked like they weren't getting any separation. Justin was a little rushed. Um, like I said, it just felt like last year. But again, it's just one drive. Next drive, a little bit better. Still ended on a 3-and-out, but we got a completion down the field to DJ Moore, little play action, and that's what I want to see. Is like I don't. I hope we don't have this urge to prove Justin is Patrick Mahomes or whoever, and we just use his skill set to the best of his ability and let him grow into that.
I would agree. The big concern I have is that interior offensive line, same issue that we had last year, starting to fall apart. Center is a huge area of concern right now. Dieter Eisland is not it.
I don't think
So
so.
if Doug Kramer and Lucas Patrick can't go and Cody Whitehair and all this stuff were banged up, Tevin Jenkins, from what I understand, is looking more like a 6 to 8 week thing, then there's a big area of concern for the interior of that offensive line. You're not, I mean, preseason football, it's going to be all vanilla stuff. We didn't see a lot of razzle dazzle from the
Yeah,
first team. We saw a couple of reverses, when Tyson Bagent was in the game with, Nasimba Webster and everything else like that, but not too much, just straight plain vanilla offense from the first teamers, which it is
they're
what
not
it
going
is
to
at
show
this
too
point.
much, but we're definitely playing the Packers, so they
No,
don't want to show them
but the
anything.
the thing is, center Ryan Poles is going to be watching that. We got cut down day coming. Deadline is tomorrow, 3 p.m. So we'll see who gets cut. I guarantee you that there's going to be at least one or two guys that we pick up for that interior offensive line. I'm kind of surprised by the Alex Leatherwood cutting because all reports indicated that they liked him coming, into
I
camp,
heard
out of
that
camp.
too, so I was surprised as well. I, I don't get like everybody's so quick to get rid of some of these guys. Like I guess we're not seeing him in practice, but like, damn, okay, he's not good. He's still giant. Like, where is this? Where is the urge to say, you know what? Let's stick this guy on the third team, and in a year and a half he'll be ready. I feel like we just don't have the urge to do that. We're like, all right, you suck, you're out of there. It's like, especially for O line, because it's more continuity than like pure individual talent. So to be like, okay, we don't like this. So like I said, I haven't seen any reports come out say like he's not a team first guy or anything like that, but he looks the mold. In preseason or in training camp, I really haven't heard or seen anything that would give me cause for concern. When he got in there and was playing in that what was it, the Eagles game, he was getting barbecued. But I mean, they were doing that to everybody. So yes, I was a little surprised to see him get cut, especially with all our offensive line troubles. I was just like I said, it's a continuity thing. So I want to, in my head, I'm more so let's keep the guys who've been here the longest because they got the. So I don't know. We'll see what he's going. But like I said, maybe they're making room. Maybe they're going to get the best bet that gets cut. Um, I don't really like that idea either. Like I said, I've said it 3 times, like a broken record. Just taking some guy who was just on another team and plopping him in at center. You know what I mean? A week and a half before we play the Packers.
Yeah, especially with no camp.
Yeah, so it's like, is that going to solve our problem anyway? Like, whatever. I feel at this point, the offensive line, whatever remedy there is to that situation, it's within, unless for some reason Trent Williams goes on the block and we can get him, or somebody like that. Like, who are you getting?
Well,
That's
we
going to
also have to remember to, I know a lot of Bears fans were excited with a lot of the new additions and new toys and everything that we got this offseason, but I've been saying it all offseason long. We have to temper our expectations a little bit. I think a lot of Bears fans are kind of going a little above and beyond. Like, yeah, we want to see Justin take that step, and I think he will take that step. But the problem is we're not looking at I saw a graphic on Twitter. Somebody, one of the not ESPN guys, but it's a very high end person that does Bears reporting and everything else like that. He has the Bears winning 12 games this year and winning the NFC North. And while as a Bears fan that would be fantastic, I just don't think that's realistic.
No,
It's time to temper
12's too many.
expectations a little bit, especially if you've been watching this preseason so far. That run defense is still as putrid as it ever was. It's still really bad. There's still tons of holes that running backs are getting through. I mean, they made Tajay Spears in the first preseason game against Tennessee. They made him, look like Derrick Henry. Granted, Tajay Spears also led the league in preseason yards per carry. I think it was over five. It was like
Titans a
5.6.
good run blocking team. I mean, I didn't want to see that either, but it was really only the first drive too. To be fair, after that, the kind of he gashed us
But
like the first 5 runs.
they've been getting gashed all preseason.
Yeah.
It's been really bad defense against the run. We have a young corner who especially a rookie corner. It looks like Tyreek Stevenson will probably be that number 2 corner. There's going to be some growing pains there. He had back-to-back penalties and quarters. He did come up with a big interception, but there's going to be growing pains there. So it's not going to be perfect. It's not like he's Sauce Gardner, early first round pick that's going to turn into one of the best corners in the league. It's going to take some time. He's a project. He's a good project, a good
I
size.
would disagree there. I don't think he's a project. I think he's ready to go. But I do think there are things he needs to work on. Penalties, he's already gotten like 5 in 3 games. He talks a lot of shit. Um, he was like when he caught the interception, didn't he throw the ball at the guy after he picked him off? Like, something like that, right?
I like the energy, but I
I do.
mean,
I agree too. Time and a place
well, you
though.
said he's ready. He's not. Yeah, he's ready to be a starter, but he's not ready to. When I say he's not ready, he's a project. He's not going to be Sauce Gardner. He's not going to be a
No,
superstar corner off the
right.
bat.
But
He's going to
no,
be a project in order to. He's got to work on his aggressiveness. He's got to work on his discipline.
definitely this one.
There's just a couple things he needs to touch up. So I mean, you're gonna hit those rough patches this year, and my biggest fear is that people are going to write off, Justin Fields are going to throw this all on his shoulders, which, he will deserve some criticism. Obviously, you and I talked about wins and losses being a quarterback stat, and we disagreed on whether or not it was and everything else like that. But in my opinion, the Bears go 5-12, 6-11. What are you saying about Justin Fields then? I mean,
I don't know. I guess it would really have to depend on the stats. Like I said, we did have this argument. NFL, we were more so talking about college. But I do still think it is a quarterback stat. But I think the NFL, people get a little more grace. Like Danny Dimes just got a $40 million, $160 million guaranteed contract. He's had what, one winning season. So I do think a lot of these guys get the benefit of the doubt. If we go 6-11 and Justin Fields throws for 3,800 yards and rushes for another 800 and has a 30 total touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions, I think everybody be fine. We all knew deep down in our hearts that this wasn't the year that we turned around anyway. Um, but if Justin looks bad, there are no excuses. If he goes out there and he looks like last year, looks lost, um, at some point you have to hulk up and you have to be our superhero. I understand that's a lot to put on somebody's plate, and that's just what it is. Like Joe Burrow gets sacked 60 times. I know he's got Jamar Chase, but he gets sacked 50, 60 times a year, and he makes it happen. Same with Mahomes. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's got a much better team, people around him, but that's the hallmark of a good quarterback is you know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? For maybe half his career, he's had a nice receiving core, but the rest, usually just some guys, maybe a solid number 2. You know what I mean? Cobb, was he ever really a number 1? Jordy Nelson, for maybe 3 of his 10 years, he was a quote unquote number 1. Like, so if you want to be like those guys, you have to command that. But I honestly, I think we're married to Justin Fields. People need to get over it and they need to get behind him. And we gotta, for my anime references, we all got to give him our energy because realistically, unless the Panthers or us are the worst team in the league, he's our guy. Like,
yeah, no, when you look at
unless
it
we have
too,
an opportunity to get Caleb Williams, we're not. He's stuck with him. I don't think the other guy was a Drake May. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's like I got to have him over Justin Fields. I think if we're in a position to get Caleb Williams, then maybe. But
not with what Arizona's doing right now. They just cut
exactly,
Colt
and
McCoy.
I just don't think the Panthers are going to be I like the best case scenario. I think the Panthers are like pick 5, and I think that's like the best case. I just think Bryce Young comes from Bama. That's a winning environment. He'll dink and dunk it. They got a good defense. If he gets hurt, the Andy Dalton's going to come in. They're going to win 6, 7 games. Um, so like you said, I think we need to temper our expectations on all fronts. But I do have high hopes for Justin, and I will be disappointed if he doesn't look like if he isn't better than Danny Dimes.
So let me ask you this. A little bit of Bears news. There was a report from a very reputable person that this came on Twitter as well. Very reputable. He's very connected. This was just his opinion, but he has also, given reports previously in previous years that have turned out to be true. One of the surprising trade candidates coming up to the deadline and everything else like that before the season, even through the season, is Bears wide receiver Darnell Mooney. He was listed on that list. He was the only, Chicago Bear on that list. It was Darnell Mooney. There have been some rumblings that the Bears do prefer Chase Claypool in terms of an extension.
Mm.
If, say, the Bears, if they can't work out a trade, say, for Chris Jones and Darnell Mooney is part of that package, I'd be okay. But if they can't work Darnell Mooney into that package for a trade, what would it take to trade Darnell Mooney?
I mean, based on what everybody else is getting, I would. I mean, if they don't like him and Justin isn't rallying for him, whatever. I mean, what is he worth? A sixth? Like he hasn't done it. He had one productive season when we were losing every game and throwing the ball to him the whole game. I like him a lot. I mean, if I find it surprising that they like Claypool better, always based on just play on the field. It just looked better to me. He's more versatile. You can play him in the slot. I feel like Claypool, you kind of gotta he's like one of these new Gen Zers where like you got to get him involved. Like you got to keep him, keeping him engaged, and then when he's playing with high energy, he plays better. So that, but I
I
mean,
think
what
it's the
could?
size.
Yeah, maybe that. And I just, what could you get from Mooney? Like I said, what is it, a fifth, a sixth? Like who knows?
Well, Philadelphia is trying to trade Derek Barnett.
Again, yeah, if we can get some kind of pass rusher, that's what I would like to get, or put him in a deal with for Chris Jones or Chase Young if he's still available, and yeah, that would be the most ideal is we somehow package him in a deal that gets us some kind of offensive lineman or defensive lineman that we desperately need. But I saw that too that like they might shop him or he might even be on the chopping block, which is weird. I don't know. We got so many wide
No, there's no
receivers.
shot he's on the chopping block. It's a contract year. He's still in his rookie deal. So money wise, that's not. I don't even think that's even an option. But looking at the trade market, I mean, Philadelphia is pretty much stacked on offense. I mean,
Defense too, which
Kansas City makes sense. Who's their
Kansas
number
City would
one?
work. Yeah, I mean they
Kadarius
would.
Toney.
Yeah, uh, I don't know. I don't. It just doesn't feel like we're gonna make a move for any of those guys. I would love to get Chris Jones
I don't think it's a move you make right now if you're Chicago, only because that's a move you make when you're like, okay, we're
next year. Yeah.
one player away. We're one play. That's a Khalil Mack level trade. And while Khalil Mack was great for that 1 year, that first year that we got him, what did that net us? Realistically, in
I
the long
kind of
run,
agree there, but that's what Philly did. Like Philly went, they were like, did they
it's
miss
a
the
it's complete
playoffs?
it's completely different. It's completely
Oh
different. We got our number one wide receiver in DJ Moore, just like Philadelphia did,
no.
and their quarterback progressed. Once they saw their quarterback progress, then they're like, okay, let's push all the chips in. They didn't do it before, Jalen Hurts was started popping off a little bit.
Yeah.
So we have to
I mean,
we have
again, we
to
can't
kind
do it
of
exactly like them. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe if they would have did it earlier, they would have had an earlier window. Um, I think if we realistically can get because Chris Jones, we pull the trigger. But I don't know. I guess you're right. He's just gonna want like what did Aaron Donald? He wants more than Aaron Donald, right? Because like
he wants like
statistically,
30 mil a year.
he statistically wasn't even better than Aaron Donald like the
Yeah,
last
he
2 years
wants
or
like
something.
30 mil a season. But who's that kid from Miami? They're talking about Christian Wilkins or something like that.
Yeah,
Apparently there's talk that he might be available. And that's another name to keep an eye on.
yeah,
That might cost you. I mean, he's gonna be cheaper than Chris Jones. He's also younger. Chris Jones is
yeah. What are they
29.
making more money room for Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, they have to be. They have to be. All I know is realistically, if Miami gets Jonathan Taylor and Tua stays healthy, that's just disgusting.
I mean,
That's
we've
almost
we've been alive long enough to know that the super teams never work. No matter
I
whatever
get that.
happens, it never. I
I
don't know if somebody gets hurt, what it is, but have what was the last time? Maybe the Rams when they traded for Stafford.
no remember it was like well that, but they ended up winning a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only one I can think of that can remember winning.
Oh yeah,
Like
because I mean Philly had
Namde
Philly,
Asamoah.
yeah, Namdi Asamoah, Michael Vick. Like there was somebody on the team that called it the super team, and then they
Yeah,
ended up just fucking shitting the bed.
yeah. So I don't.
I
I'm and Tua's known to get hurt.
that's
Um,
a lot of mouths to feed in Miami too.
yeah. We'll
But
be. I don't think. I don't. I don't. I
but
don't know.
that would just be
I
disgusting.
kind of was getting JT to the Bears kind of piqued my interest. I just feel like what's he gonna want? Like 15 million a year?
No, I think he was in the range of like 17.
Oh, okay, never
But
mind.
at the same time, okay, I even going back previously last year, you can look back, watch the videos back. I said Khalil Herbert was not going to be a lead back in this league, and I stand true to that testament. I just don't think he has the workhorse every down back. He can't catch. He can't catch. He's not, you know, one of these top tier running backs. He's not going to turn into a top tier running back. So JT would have been nice on the Bears, sure. But that running back room, I mean, it's good enough right now that I don't think it would need Jonathan Taylor. Of course, you kind of want all the playmakers you could possibly have if you're Chicago. But I'm more at this point, I think you have enough right now. I'm more focused on the offensive line and the defense, that defensive line. So both offense and defensive line. The one thing we have put so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, we put so much money
Stock.
and stock into this past offseason, and we're getting hurt.
Yeah,
We're
but
getting hurt bad.
I don't see some linemen coming available that's going to be able to help us. I think that time's passed. I don't know unless they still really want to get off of Chase Young, but like all these guys got their extensions. I think Chris Jones is going to take a much needed break, sit out till week 8. He's going to come back, help them win a Super Bowl, and get his payday. And I just think, like I said earlier, we're just going to have to focus on developing these fucking guys. And they need to do it better, and they need to be doing it faster.
Well, Alan Williams will be on the hot seat this year. I think if the defense has another bad year, Alan Williams is gone. Realistically, Eberflus, it's his defense, it's his scheme. Yeah, you need the players to fit the scheme, but at the same time, you're a head coach. You're a defensive-minded head coach. On top of that, with a defensive coordinator that's running your defense, you can only blame the defensive coordinator for so long. I don't think Alan Williams has that long of a leash. I was a little bit surprised with some of the cuts so far today as well in terms of the wide receiver room. Why does Velus Jones still have a job?
I'm confused too. Like he dropped another punt. Like I don't even want to see him on the field again. Clearly, he's like, do they must have like some packages for him, some plays that he gets in that they really like him running, or something. Because, like you said, what's he worth? Like we got Mooney. We already got one too many of Mooney. The guy we drafted looks like a good receiver. Velus Jones has already proved that he's not a good return man. He's got one good return and 7 muff punts in a season.
Yeah, it's insane to me. I do not understand why we're putting so much stock and validity into Velus Jones when he's proven, like you said, he's muffed several punts, he's dropped wide open passes.
Like a
He,
ridiculous amount. Like not even like, oh, 2 or 3, we're just messing. Like literally like 7. He literally cost us 2 different games in the fourth quarter.
yeah, I don't understand what's going on with that. Like you said, maybe they have some special packages for him, but you're gonna sit there and tell me that you can't give those to Tyler Scott, who's maybe not as fast, but he's got that speed and everything else that you drafted Bayless Jones Jr.'s for. Uh, I don't know. I'm glad Tyson Bagent grabbed that number 2 spot. I was a little surprised. maybe because it's because of the old regimes. The old regimes would have never have been like, okay, we made a mistake with the whole PJ Walker thing. We made a mistake with the Alex Leatherwood thing. We're going to cut our losses regardless of how much money they make. It was the better man that won the job, blah, 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 blah. So I was kind of surprised that they decided to keep Nathan Peterman as of right now as the number 3 instead of PJ Walker, since they are paying PJ, because he got $4 million guaranteed from Chicago. So he's going to be paid regardless. But Tyson Bagent is number 2. I changed my fantasy team name to Special Bagent LJ Gibbs. Number 17. I mean, I heard a lot of different conflicting things from local radio recently, today, yesterday, things like that. That Cap and Hoodie were talking about how they wanted a more experienced veteran to be the backup, but Waddle and Sylvie were talking about how they would much rather have a guy that you could develop as a backup instead of bringing in, a veteran backup, because a veteran backup, according to Waddle and Sylvie, are quote unquote failed starter. So why would you want somebody who can't be a good starter in this league over somebody that you can develop, who has shown promise and shown poise, not of an undrafted rookie? Because he really did. He knows how to play the position. He looked very comfortable in that. He was able to step up in the pocket. He was able to do some things. There were a couple of things that, obviously he's a D2 quarterback, undrafted rookie. He was undrafted for a reason, right? But he has shown the ability to play the quarterback position. So let me ask you, do you agree with Cap and J Hood that you would want a more veteran backup, or do you agree with Waddle and Sylvie and say that, yeah, let's have a guy that we can develop as our number 2?
I guess for the Bears, I would say the veteran because I think you fall into a Brock Purdy situation, like where we didn't talk about this. Trey Lance just got traded to the Cowboys. We're like, he's not doing so hot. You bring this other guy in who's like got no pressure at all, at all. He could be terrible and we'll love him. You know what I mean? He's like backup quarterback, like they say, the best job in the world. And it's like you bring this young guy in and he does good. And then when Justin Fields come back, now everybody's like, oh, we got this other young guy. Like, so I don't for young that happened with RG3 and Kirk Cousins, like kind of as soon as he got hurt, we're like, we're done with you. Um, I don't know if I want to do that with Justin Fields. But I think a vet would be like less pressure, meaning like you're not worried about your job. This guy, you can only learn from this guy. And
Yeah, but see,
in reality, no matter what, your starting quarterback gets hurt, your season's over. I'm not saying don't have a young quarterback on your team ready to be building. He could be QB3, but
yeah,
I
but
mean, if Paget comes in, our season's over. So who cares?
but shouldn't you want somebody who's going to kind of have Justin feeling that pressure a little bit? Like the last couple
I would say
years,
no
he's been
because
safe. He knows he's not going to lose that job. They had no
I
other
mean, even
option.
now, I mean, realistic until the draft picks come out, his job's safe. I mean, I think in the NFL, these guys got enough pressure as it already is to be. And I'm not saying I don't want Justin feeling the heat. I just think that's just pointless. I think a vet backup for Justin would be better just because those guys get in. There's something for Justin to learn from him. He could pick his brain. It's like another coach. He's seen a lot of like a vet, and I'm not saying get a super failed vet, like a failed start. Like, is Mitch Trubisky a failed starter? Like, he had like half his seasons were good. Like, Mitch Trubisky is an example of like, yeah, you got the right team. He'll be all right. I don't know if that's necessarily a failed starter. Failed starter to me is like we put you on a good team and you suck and you're the reason we lose all our games. Like there was plenty of bad things that Mitch did, but I wouldn't have put him as the bulk of the blame on why we weren't succeeding. I just think he was in a shit situation. He got brought up too early. But I think somebody like Mitchell Trubisky or even Jimmy Garoppolo would be fine for Justin. I don't have a problem with Badgett either. I just I would fear a Brock Purdy scenario where like let's say Justin goes down and for 5 weeks Pageant comes in and goes 4-1, then what? Like
I, if Bajan comes in and goes 4-1,
it's
I'd be
good.
okay with that
I
too.
mean, you say it's
Like
okay, but what I'm saying like there's a problem now. Now, okay, Justin comes
there's
back.
no such thing. No
Yeah,
such
Justin
thing as a
comes.
problem. How is that? How would that be a problem
I'm
if
gonna
you have a
explain.
quarterback?
Justin comes back. He gets the job back. He loses. Now they're like, oh, I want to see Pageant in. And now for the rest of their time together, both being on the team, it's going to be this thing. And those aren't questions I want Justin asking. Like, oh, are you worried about like with the Bailey Zappi Mac Jones thing? Like that did not work out for Mac Jones. You think that
No, it
was
didn't
good for
work out for
Mac
Mac
Jones? Like
Jones.
that's what I would be afraid of happening. If
But
let's
let
say
me
if nobody gets hurt, I don't care who the backup is, but I'm just saying in a scenario where Justin gets hurt, he has to step down for 5 weeks. If that guy does good, I don't want it to be some young guy who's younger
okay,
than
but
Justin.
hold on. If Justin Fields goes down, what's the Bears record at the time Justin Fields gets hurt?
500. We'll say we're 2-2.
Okay, 2-2. With the same team, the guy comes in for 5 weeks, goes 4-1. Is that really going to be an issue for you?
I mean, not in the moment. I'm just saying when Justin comes back, there will be an issue created because even in my head, your head, everyone's head, let's say, okay, he gives the reins back to Justin. Justin comes back, we lose. He doesn't play well. Then what's everybody thinking?
You stick with a hot hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then what? When the season's
I'll
over, do
fall.
you
I'll
still stick
fall.
with the hot hand?
I will fall on this sword. I'd be more pissed off at Bears coaching staff if they gave the job back to Justin Fields while not playing the hot hand because we all talked about it when Kyle Orton led the Bears to the fucking Super Bowl that year, realistically in the playoffs, and then Rex Grossman came back and played in the playoffs. Like,
Rex did good in the playoffs, though.
huh?
Rex did okay. I understand what you're saying, but like Rex was doing good before he got hurt, and he did fine when he got back. I agree with you though. In the moment, I wanted them to keep Kyle Orton in. Is what I'll say. I'm just saying, like, do we win the Super Bowl if Kyle Orton's in? Like, I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, do we make it? He like didn't Rex win the 3 games to get there?
No, not really. It was all defense.
I
Rex
know
threw
that,
like
but I'm
three.
just what
He
would
threw
Kyle
like
Orton's game?
three interceptions in a playoff game, and they
What I'm
still
just saying,
won.
like, how did Kyle Orton do well? That was the whole. That was always the
He
defense.
was a game manager who didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, I'm again. I don't know what happened. I'm just saying, like Rex did okay. He did that one playoff game. He threw the 3 picks, and he didn't look too hot in the Super Bowl. But I don't envision. What we lose? Didn't the Colts score 28? I just don't think Orton was going to put up 28. But we'll see. I don't really even want to worry about the backup quarterback. We got Justin. He's not going to get hurt. Again, like I said, in a ideal scenario, I don't. If he's not getting hurt, I really don't care who the backup is. I just don't want something to happen like Purdy, where like Trey Lance just got shipped out because Purdy had a good 7 game stretch, and Trey Lance looked bad in the monsoon.
Yeah, San Francisco. All I know is that I mean they got Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's a serviceable. He looked pretty good in the preseason too. I mean, I don't I don't think it matters who's at quarterback when unless you're Josh who was the quarterback they had that
Josh
got hurt.
Johnson, but like he
Yeah,
was like, didn't they like
they had just signed him like the week before or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, there was the reports. Did you see that with the Brock Purdy injury? If they had made the Super Bowl, they had Philip Rivers ready to sign in San Francisco to play and start in the Super Bowl. Had they made the Super Bowl last year,
What'd you say?
Philip Rivers, they had Philip Rivers ready to sign and play and start the Super Bowl if they had made the Super Bowl and beat Philly with the Brock Purdy injury.
That would have been interesting. I don't know. I mean, I just can't imagine how they could have won, but uh,
That would have been great.
it would have been a great story. I like Philip Rivers. I thought he's underrated. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but I just think he's. I think they need another tier under Hall of Fame because like there's
The
just too
Hall
many
of
people.
Very Good.
Yeah, something like that, or like maybe the NFL should just make it a point to make teams like retire, like put them in the Ring of Honor at least. Because yeah, Philip Rivers is a character, and while he's not a Hall of Famer, it's because his teams weren't good enough. But like he was clearly far better than Eli, and I'll argue to my grave that Eli's a Hall of Famer. And I'll say Philip Rivers is better than him. It's just Eli Manning's got like a fucking storybook career where like you're the son of a NFL player, the brother of at the time the projected GOAT, and to come in and like do better, not only like be good, like just to be above average would be impressive. Than to beat, literally stop Tom Brady from having 10 Super Bowl rings, damn near like that. Like that's what just automatically slingshots meant. Like you can't tell the story of the NFL without Eli Manning. So
Yeah, the 2007 Patriots making sure they didn't finish the season undefeated. Coming from a wild card spot, that ridiculous drive, the helmet catch by David Tyree, the perfect fade into the end zone to Plaxico Burress. Like ever. That just Super Bowl game in general is historic. Um, you mentioned earlier. Well, we'll wrap it up here in a little bit here, but you mentioned earlier about the White Sox. So I texted you a couple days ago. And now they're saying that the shooting did in fact the gun did in fact go off inside the stadium.
Oh
How
wow.
much of an embarrassment have the White Sox become for the city of Chicago, especially Jerry Reinsdorf?
Of a major one. Um, I don't know. Hopefully, I guess they're saying they're gonna move now. I don't really have words for it because it's just like I don't care anymore. Like it feels like Jerry doesn't care, so I don't care. The players don't care. Why the hell am I gonna sit around being mad?
Well, they're talking about, yeah, there's a possibility Jerry sells the team. There's a possibility, a very good possibility, that the team goes to Nashville. Nashville's looking for a baseball team. They want to bring one in. A lot of Sox fans will have to convert to being Cubs fans. Um, and that kind of sucks. There was a list of three places Jerry did list. Um, it was, some land over by the United Center, Arlington Heights, and somewhere else. I forgot what the third location
Well, I
was,
didn't
but
realize. I thought they were going to Nashville. They want to move the baseball team.
yeah,
That's the
there's
least
three
of our
different.
problems. That's the
Yeah,
least of our fucking problems.
they want three different. He's looking at three different locations if he doesn't sell the team to move. He does once the lease is up at um guaranteed rate field is what it's called now. Once the lease is up, they want to move. The lease is up in 6 years. If anybody knows anything about stadium building, that's about how long it takes to build a stadium. So if he's got to make that decision quick, fast, and in a hurry, you're either going to sell the
He might
team
as
and
well
move it
go
to
to
Nashville.
Nashville.
You're
Yeah.
going to sell the team and move to Nashville, or you need to find a location and start building ASAP. The easiest thing would be for Jerry. The easiest thing would be just to sell the team and move it to Nashville because, I mean, the
Because I mean, they
Bears are
just
getting
already
picked around.
lost the war. The Cubs won that World Series, and the White Sox is kind of becoming an afterthought. Um, I don't like it to be that, but unless we're winning, we can't be the lovable losers. We have
No,
to be a real team making the playoffs consistently. And like they were saying, well, we've got like the worst record in like the last 10 years or some shit right there. I didn't even realize that or something like that. Last decade, we've got like the worst record.
it's horrible. This is the second biggest disappointment in team history with everything that's going on right now. I mean, you're 30 games under 500. You had all this, hoopla around you with some of the players and everything else like that, and it's become an absolute shit show. With the exception of the 1919 Black Sox, you're probably looking at the second biggest disappointment in White Sox history, and there's a lot of history there. You're one of the oldest franchises in the history of baseball, and you're pissing it all down the drain because of piss poor ownership. I mean, we had a good maybe 24 hours of joyous hallelujah when you sent me that text message about Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn getting the axe, only to find out that Jerry's preference is for Chris fucking Getz to step into that GM role. Are you fucking kidding
I'm
me?
guessing he's just a placeholder because they're about to sell the team.
But still, like that little bit of hope that you had for the Sox fans was completely ripped away because, who the fuck is Chris Getz? Chris Getz spent, a couple years in a White Sox uniform playing for the White Sox. He's been with the organization for a while. He was previously in Kansas City as like an assistant GM or something like that. He was running their farm system or some shit. And then there, you got Pedro Grafal, the guy that they hired from Kansas City to be the manager. There was talks about bringing somebody from the Rangers organization who used to work with Chris Getz over at the fucking Royals organization. So you're telling me that you're hiring all these fucking guys from the Kansas City Royals organization, who, by the way, it's not like they're the fucking Yankees, Dodgers, Houston Astros, any of these teams that actually know how to run an organization. Granted, Kansas City won a World Series 10 fucking years ago, but you're going to sit there and tell me all of a sudden that, oh, that this is the team that I want to base my organization around, the fucking Kansas City Royals. No, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Jerry Reinsdorf, I don't know if he's growing senile in his old age or what, but it's an embarrassment. It's fucking time to go. Just put
Yeah.
me out of my misery already.
Seriously.
Just fucking do it. Like I can't. I have defended and defended and defended and defended my fandom because I'm a diehard Sox fan. I it, it it sucks to be in this position that they're in right now, but you can't keep teasing me. Just fucking put me out of my misery. If you're gonna sell the team, sell the team. Rip the band-aid off right now. Just let's get it over with. I can't do this dicking around and dodging and pussyfooting and all this other shit. Like, just get it over with. It's done. On the other hand, the Northsiders, they're looking at a playoff spot. How fucking sad is that?
And they're
How
young and
sad is that?
fun. They're
There was
just playing though. Like the problem is the Sox like do not look like they're like playing with any sort of energy at all. Um, and it's just like I said, disheartening. Like I was fucking reading Jerry don't even show up to the games no more. Um, like I said, you said put us out of our misery, go to Nashville, and that'd be the end of it. I don't think a new stadium is needed. That's not why the fans aren't engaged. And the little petty shooting, whatever, like yeah, it sucks, but like crazy shit happens downtown, or not downtown, but outside on the north side, outside the Cubs game. After every game, some crazy shit happens. Like, um,
now if he sells the team and they stay in Illinois, that'd be awesome.
yeah,
That's best case scenario for all of us. But I don't think
I
it's
don't
gonna
see
work.
that happening. I think we're going to Nashville. I don't think those things get leaked out lighthearted. I think Nashville's been begging for some kind of other sports team other than the freaking Predators they got over there. And, you know what I mean? And
I think they
Nashville
got the
just
Titans.
how close is that to Nashville?
The Titans are in Nashville.
They are in Nashville? I thought they were pretty far
Not
away.
Nashville, Nashville,
Okay.
but they're like right there. So they have a professional sports team. They that and they got the Predators, right? Or not the Predators. Is it the Predators, the NHL team? They have an NHL team too.
Yeah. The Predators.
It is the Predators. Okay. I see. I don't even know anything about fucking hockey, but I knew that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I know Nashville wants a team. Maybe it'll give us an opportunity to bring in another. I don't fucking know anymore. I'm
Yeah.
so disappointed with baseball. I'm
Yeah.
so
And baseball's already like become my least favorite just and like the Sox sucking just helps me.
yeah. I mean, it's a good thing we got football season right around the corner, September 10th, 3:05. I'm supposed to be working that weekend, but it's not happening. I already told my crew, my assistant, I was like, I'm not working Sundays during the football season. It's not happening. I'm
My new
sorry.
gig, we are closed on Sundays, so
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be
them's the breaks of being the boss is that I get to make my own schedule. So I'm not working Sundays during the football season. It's just not happening. But what are you looking forward to week one? Take Justin Fields out of the equation.
um
What
the run defense. I want to see Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards live up to what we signed them for. I definitely want to see that. I want to see um, Eddie Jackson flying around doing Eddie Jackson things. I think we finally got a good set of corners. Not world beaters. I wouldn't say they're top five, but I think they're quality NFL secondary, above average. Plus, with Brisker to be the tackling guy, so Eddie Jackson can fall right back in his role, being a roamer, getting interceptions, making plays. And I guess not on Justin, but I want to see the offense pick up where we left off last year, where we were scoring in the first drive every game, damn near. And I want
do you
Getsy to
think?
pick up where that is and drive it down the field and put in the end zone against the Packers the first time we touch it.
Do you think Green Bay is going to come out running, or do you think
They're
that they're
definitely
going to?
running. They're definitely going to run. I'm sure they'll play action on second down, 2nd and 5. They're going to play action, some deep to Christian Watson, but I do think they're going to run the ball. That's our weakness. That's how they beat us last year. And I think that's the best way to get Jordan Love into a groove too. Um,
Is he going to live up to the hype? There's a lot of
does he
hype
have
all over
hype?
this
I think he's got
preseason.
a lot of pressure. It's hard to say. I don't think he's going to be garbage, but I don't think he's going to be Favre or Rodgers, which is ridiculous to even think that. Like to put that literally on anybody to say like Caleb Williams is going to be either one of those guys. The number one overall pick is a lot of pressure. But I don't know if he'll be that. But I think he'll be Jared Goff esque. You know what I mean? If you guys play good around him, I'll play good. He doesn't look terrible to me. He looks like a real NFL quarterback. maybe he's a bust. I hope so in our best fit, but I don't know. I don't see terrible quarterback when I watch him play.
He doesn't have a lot of bad tendencies.
No, that's what I'm saying. He looks the part. He's got a good throwing motion. It looks very smooth. He doesn't look like I said. I love Justin, but Justin sometimes like on a drop back just feels rushed. I know that's the offensive line
He
and
holds on to the ball way
yeah,
too long, and
post
I think
traumatic
that's the one
stress.
thing.
Yeah,
That's the one thing Jordan Love has over Justin Fields is that he diagnoses the field faster than Justin does
I
so
think that's
far.
the benefit of being a backup for so long though, because all of his reps are like he's got so many reps after reps. Like all Justin's reps are live on a
Yeah.
trash team with a trash O line. So his mental reps are 1,000, 2,000. I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, so I think that's the one benefit of. I mean, there's a couple more benefits, but that's one of the major benefits of sitting behind and getting to get a lot of good practice reps against the first team defense, and they're not allowed to hit you, so you can like focus. You can know like, oh, they're not going to smoke me, so I can stand in the pocket and deliver this pass. You know what I mean? I could be on time. They're not going to hit me. And Justin didn't really get that, where he, you know what I mean? All his reps are damn near live, and he's just got bad tendencies because of post traumatic stress from getting the shit kicked out of him.
So real quick before we wrap it up, final score prediction: Week 1, Bears versus Packers.
Bears 28, Packers 17.
So you're saying 28-17?
28-17 Bears. I think, like I said, we're gonna score 28. I think our offense is gonna look fine. I think the defense for us will be on the heels for a little while, but I think they'll settle in. I think Tremaine Edmonds is a real deal middle linebacker. Um, and I think we got a rotation on the D line where at least we don't got any world beaters, but maybe they'll be able to stay fresh and kind of we'll figure out who's best at what, who's best on what downs, and you know what I mean, be a good D line by committee instead of having one or two, you know what I mean, beasts out there.
I have the Bears covering right now. The line is 2.5. I have the score 27-24. I do think they win by that field goal. Um, I think it's going to be a lot closer game than what a lot of people expect, but it'll be hard fought. I think the Bears win because it's at home, but once we go up to Lambeau, I think it'll be a little bit different story. We'll just have to see how the team looks at that point. But I think 27-24, somewhere around there is going to be the score. Bears pick up the victory week 1. I think they have a really good shot of going 2-0 before traveling to Kansas City for the first loss. Realistically, they have a good chance of going, 4-1, 5-1 before they, pick up their second loss. But we'll just have to see how the team looks week 1. That's all I have. Anything else you got on your
No,
mind, on your
that's it.
plate?
Like I said, I'm just hyped up. Well, next week won't have much to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about some other sports or maybe some other games. But it was nice talking to you. Was that episode 38 now? We'll be 50
Almost a
sometime in
40.
the middle. Yeah, almost a 40. We'll get to 50 sometime middle of the season.
We have to
And
start pushing that some more. We kind of fell
yeah,
off a little bit doing that.
yeah, the summer, yeah, kids, new jobs. It's been like that, but we'll be back to the grind. But adios, muchacho. I'll talk to you soon.
Adios.